after they've served, honouring their service. How do we honour their service? Now, there's a few different things about this, right, where suicide is the worst possible outcome of how a life falls apart after service. But the unemployment rate of people out of the service is way higher than in the rest of the community. There are lots of little leaders before we get to eventually those feelings. But there's an interesting thing that we talked about a few minutes ago, which was tradition, Hollie, which was the industrial left, the intellectual left, the media left, is now trying to say that a support of tradition is a gateway drug to right-wing extremism, that it's interchangeable with right-wing extremism. Now, obviously you and I and James know that's garbage, but this is the thing about the left when they are trying to work out where are the little moments of resistance, right? And a country that understands sacrifice through military as opposed to demonises military operations, well, there's limits to how far you can push that country. What role do you think, not just this Veterans Royal Commission, but about the solutions that come out of it, mean we continue to honour tradition and not as a gateway drug to right-wing extremism?
No, and honouring the service of our veterans is incredibly important. And I mean, you look at, we've got the issue today, or, you know, coming up this week with Anzac Day, 75,000 at the MCG, 5,000 at an Anzac service. I mean, it's just garbage, it's insulting. But people who serve in the Australian services are incredibly proud of their service, and as they should be. And we need to honour that when they come back. And there's many ways that we can do it. You're right, when we talk about employment, we need to be open and honest about what are the career pathways available to those when they return. There's organisations that have started, like With You, With Me, that's helping people transition from the Army and armed services through to tech and cyber kind of roles through different recruitment methods. So sometimes we just need to be able to think a little bit outside the box and look at how we can work with former soldiers and those from the Air Force and the Navy a lot more effectively. But, you know, we just saw a lot of people object to the proposed expansion of the War Memorial. Yeah. And I was just at a dinner tonight where I bumped into Dr. Brendan Nelson, who did such incredible work there. He's a fantastic man and was such an advocate for that expansion. And one of the, you know, some of the objections we were getting, I really felt listening to them that these were people who were fundamentally saying almost, well, that our recognition should end at World War II. These same people, now that we're pulling out of Afghanistan, are saying, well, where are we going to have the space to honour them? Now, thankfully, the more sensible ones of us were there doing the work to ensure that that expansion is going to be able to take place, so that the War Memorial, which is a very sacred place for all former servicemen and women, is going to be able to recognise not only those historic wars, but the ones that we have veterans that are still alive being able to see themselves honoured and respected in their service.
Such a good point. I mean, also, it is a building of national significance where there are half a dozen. The Parliament, the High Court, of national significance, which is why, yes, it's a big chunk of change, but equally, these people automatically say, well, can't that X million dollars be spent on my favourite project? Well, ideally, yes. But, you know, unless we're going to, you know, you have to make priorities, and things of national significance like that are important. But James,